What you're looking at here is the future of motorcycles, the Harley-Davidson LiveWire. A fully electric motorcycle that produces 116 Newton meters of torque and 105 horsepower. That's a lot of oomph for a bike using no fossil fuels or producing any carbon emissions. As the world wises up to global warming and we transition to more and more electric vehicles, Harley has got you covered. With the LiveWire, you can be environmentally conscious without sacrificing style or performance. Now there's a lot to cover with this guy, so I'll try to limit the tech talk, but this bike is tech personified. On your traditional V-twin engine, the crank goes around, the intake valve opens, and it lets the air and fuel into the motor. Piston punches up, compresses the mixture, spark plug ignites it, and pushes the piston back down, turning the crankshaft, which moves your chain or belt and begins your forward motion. How does it work on an electric bike?
It all starts with a Revelation permanent magnet electric motor. There is no transmission and no clutch. The gear set turns the output 90 degrees to align the drive belt sprocket with the rear wheel, and the final drive belt transfers power from the gearbox output pulley to the rear wheel, and that all happens in the blink of an eye.
Complicated stuff. Magnets. How does it work? The greatest benefit of not having to worry about those antiquated chemical reactions inside your engine is instant power delivery. The second you twist the throttle, you have access to 100% of the 116 Newton meters of torque at all times. That means 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3 seconds. We'll make sure we test that out today. The heart of the Revolution electric motor is the 15.5 kilowatt hours high volt battery, otherwise known as the RES, Rechargeable Energy Storage System. The lithium-ion cells are enclosed in this cast aluminum housing. Now that acts like a heat sink to help cool the cells. On the outside of the housing are these fins, which you see are similar to air cooling fins on a traditional V-twin. And they work in much the same way. The fins are exposed to the air, and that helps with cooling. And these little air scoops on the bodywork act like ducts, pulling more air through. Nobody likes a hot battery. The RES housing is attached to the frame to help keep the chassis rigid. You've also got your 12-volt battery here to recognise your key fob and get your bike started. Now what I find so cool about the RES is that any time you're off the throttle, the motor becomes a generator and puts power back into the system. It's the same feeling as engine braking, and it's programmed into all 4 of the pre-programmed ride modes. Speaking of which, you have 7 slots for ride modes: road, rain, range, and sport. Then you have 3 custom slots for you to play around with, and they're all accessed from this button or from this beautiful 4.3-inch liquid crystal touchscreen, where you can see your speed, range, and battery status. If you want to connect your phone via Bluetooth, you can now control your music, phone calls, and turn-based navigation through the screen. It's very easy for me to come into Harley-Davidson, grab a LiveWire, list off the specs, and take it for a ride for the day, but it's a different thing when you actually own one yourself. So I thought what might be good is to bring in a friend of mine to tell us all about owning a Harley-Davidson LiveWire. His name is Michael Davis. He's a fantastic artist, as you can see these pieces behind the bike here, and he's going to tell us a little bit about, I guess, what it's like to own a Harley-Davidson LiveWire. Michael, how are you, mate?
Good, Dave. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Good to see you. What do you like most about the Harley-Davidson LiveWire?
I love everything about it.
That's a good start.
There's not one thing I don't.
It's nimble, it's quick, it's quiet, it's efficient, and it's the epitome of the ultimate commuter bike, really.
Had you owned previous Harley-Davidsons?
Yes, I've had 5 others, from CVO road glides to street glides to road kings, ultras, and softail.
Oh, wow. Was it a big change to go from the petrol bikes to the electric bikes?
Initially it was, because I was missing that noise and the clutch and the gear change, but after about 2 hours I was over them and into this.
Yeah, I can see that. How does the ride style differ? You don't have the vibrations, obviously, from the big V twin. Is it a very different riding experience?
It is a bit different because it's a lot smaller than the big touring bikes that I'm used to. And it's just quicker and easier in the traffic.
And it's pretty quick off the line.
It's very quick off the line, as quick as you want it to be.
Yeah. What about cost saving? Do you think you feel like you're saving a lot of money on the bike?
So I think I am. The stats for 6 months of owning it, and I've had 3 power bills come in. Each power bill's gone up $100. It sort of worked out to $12.50 a week to run the bike.
Oh, wow.
So it's been $310 cost to charge it over that 6 months. And I've travelled 14,000 kilometres.
14,000 kilometres?
And I've saved $1,300 of actually buying of petrol.
It's like the opposite of my road glide.
Yeah, and my old bikes.
I have to tell everyone, what is quite cool about your artwork is you've actually integrated a few things into your LiveWire.
Yeah, I do that with most of my bikes. I put some little bit of artwork into them because I like things to be uniquely mine.
Yeah.
And I think it works with the LiveWire. It's not really a skull bike. It's a different type of art on this.
Mate, thank you so much for chatting to us.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming in.
No worries.
And love the artwork.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant.
The big brains of this operation is the Reflex Defensive Rider System, and this is integral to taming the instant power of the electric monster. ABS is everywhere now, and it is an amazing thing to stop your wheels locking up under hard braking or emergency situations in a straight line. But the LiveWire takes it to the next level with the cornering enhanced anti-lock braking system. You're basically riding a supercomputer with wheels. Fully adjustable Showa suspension, front and rear. The first thing you're going to notice on the LiveWire is the sound, or lack thereof. And if you're used to the V-twin, then you're out of luck. But what it does have is this unique noise from the gearbox. It's actually very cool. And it gives this insanely fast bike a kind of tranquil soundtrack to listen to, especially up here in nature, away from the traffic. It really feels like you're flying. The LiveWire is a performance machine. It just handles beautifully and it cuts through corners like they're nothing. It just makes you want to laugh. It's so exhilarating. I would love to get one of these out on a racetrack. If this is the future for motorcycles, then we're in for some wild rides. Keep up to date with future LiveWire availability for Australia and New Zealand at www.livewire.com. I do, yeah.
Nobody likes a hot battery. Or do they? Yeah. It was like staring at him. Give him the...